Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Pisces, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the last 2 weeks of November. I hope you're well. Using the Tarot of the Abyss for you today. So, if you haven't seen these readings before, we're going for an exercise in perspective. In so much as we are looking for the lesson, what we're going to do is look at the energy that you are in right now, and then we are going to look and see why you are there in the first place. I believe that there is wisdom, or indeed a lesson contained within every interaction and experience that you have, if you are open to seeing it. And sometimes we're not, because sometimes we get very, drawn in to just what is in front of us rather than everything that is around. So to that end, like I said, we will pull 3 cards for your current energy, and then we'll pull 3 cards and see if we can explore the reason why you are there. Sometimes it's trying to tell you something about yourself, sometimes it's trying to clear the way in front of you, we won't know until the cards hit the table. But then we'll finish out with 3 cards of advice. So I hope that makes sense. Let's have a look and see what's going on with you. Can I have 3 cards for Pisces, please? Ooh. So we have the Page of Wands, we have the Moon in reverse, and we have the Judgment card, or Awakening as it is in this deck. Let me just show you these. So it's very blustery here in the UK at the moment. There. And we have the Strength card at the bottom of the deck. I knew it was here somewhere, I could feel it, with you right behind it. This is talking about your strength and your empowerment here, Pisces. You kind of stepping into who you are truly, actually, is how it feels to me. Now, the Page of Wands is that precursor to movement. It's not the movement itself per se, because we usually see that with the Knight of Wands, but this is the preparatory stage for something, Now, I cannot remember exactly the content of your main monthly reading, but I know it did revolve around this idea that there were big life-changing decisions coming up, and that you were prepared to make those decisions. You were prepared to change things as you needed to, in defense of something that you felt really strongly about, actually, now I think about it too. So what we've got here for the last 2 weeks is perhaps you maybe intuiting that this choice is coming in, or maybe it's here already, maybe it's right in front of you, and this is you taking those steps to move in a different direction, because all of the pages, starting as they do as the lower rung of the the echelon of the court hierarchy, it's not a new start exactly, but it's taking a direction and it's shifting it, it's changing it to in a different way. We've got the Moon in reverse here. That's the card of Cancer, and in its upright it talks about things that are hidden. It talks about things that are yet to be revealed. There's an illusory nature sometimes to the Moon card too. Things seen by moonlight look very different to how they look from daylight. But I like the fact that it's coming up in the reverse for you here, because it means that you see everything for how it is. Regardless of moonlight or sunlight or whatever, you see that which you did not see before. It feels like you've got all of the information now at this point, and from there we go to Awakening. Now, like I said, this is the Judgment card in a standard deck, but I prefer to keep this just as Awakening and everything that Awakening means, because it's this sense of you coming back to yourself. It's a sense of you being authentic and honoring yourself and your journey, no one else's. And this whole year has been a journey of self-discovery for Pisces. It's about working out what was wrong, pulling yourself away from toxic people, guarding your own space a little better than you have done in the past, and coming to this point now where, frankly, your wings are beginning to unfold and you are becoming someone else. You are becoming not someone else exactly. You're sloughing off a skin of restriction that has in some ways been self-imposed. And that's, some people flinch when I say that, but none of this stuff happens without your consent. And you have in the past given your consent to perhaps be taken advantage of, to perhaps be allowed yourself to be spoken down. And there are points at which in the past, past in the not so distant past, where you would have allowed that to happen. You come up with an idea and someone says, no, we're not going to do that, that's rubbish. And you go, oh, okay, I'll just go wander off and do something else, you know? But there's passion here, there's drive here. And more than that, there's strength and empowerment here. There's growth. There is you developing, Pisces, not quite into someone else, but into a stronger, more resolute, very, very firm version of yourself. And it will feel like an awakening. I don't usually pull clarifiers. Shut the fucking window. Someone's just staring at it. We'll shut the window, right? I don't usually pull clarifiers for the mid-month readings, but I am feeling like I want a couple more things for this awakening here. Tell me about this awakening, please. Yeah. What we've got is this transition going on here. We've got a transition from the Seven of Pentacles to the Nine of Pentacles here. Now, like, if you've watched my videos before, you know how I explained this one, which is, you know, it is a situation that you are in whereby you're like, do I need to cut my losses here, or do I need to invest more? What needs to happen here? It's quite a good card in some ways, in so much as it's quite a present energy of examining the circumstances that you find yourself in and saying, well, do I stay here or do I go? You know, do I put more effort in or do I pull everything out? Do I go and do something else? Now, that's the nature of a life-changing decision that you have to make, but all of the energy seems to be pushing you towards making a decision that you had not anticipated making, right? So it's not about the life-changing decision in and of itself. It's about the fact that for the most part, it does seem like, Pisces, you are going to take whatever is the untrodden route by you. You know, it's pushing you out of your comfort zone for sure. We've got the Hermit card at the bottom of the deck, with the Page of Pentacles there, another card of a shift in direction of sorts. Now the Page of Pentacles has just discovered this pentacle and it's like, wow, look at that, it's the best thing that I've ever seen. But because we're talking about a slight change in direction here, we're taking what already exists and seeing it potentially in a new light, or seeing it and feeling the need to invest in it further. And with the Hermit card there, it's like you've really dug deep on this one. This is not just a spontaneous decision that you might come back and regret at some point in the future. More, this is something that just feels completely right to you. And like the entirety of this year and everything that you have experienced this year has got you to a point whereby you are able to make this decision. So on the face of it, it may look to other people like you've just gone, well, fuck this, I'm off, and, you know, pulled something akin, I don't know, more to a fire signs kind of reaction to this. But we know that that's not the case, because this has been building steadily and slowly all year. And so I did say for some of you that you'd intuited perhaps this coming in, this coming towards you. And so there was preparation there of sorts, even if it was subconscious. You know, one way we can see this is something, you know, a transition from the subconscious to conscious there. That which you have felt, that which you have kind of intuited and understood and was aware that was there, but never really engaged with that much. Suddenly with the moon turning into the reverse, it's like, okay, now I've got all of this stuff that I've been sat with for quite a while, and I see exactly where this direction is taking me. Right? It's not come that suddenly for you, although it may appear to have done for everybody else. But this transition from a place that is unsatisfactory in some way to something that is everything that you have always wanted is what we're seeing underneath this awakening card, right? This is what's going on. You haven't yet quite stood up, Pisces, but the wings are unfurled and you are ready. And so now you get to be a creature not only of the earth but also of the sky, right? The freedom and the liberation that is coming from you here. Okay, I can never quite work out what's underneath her there. I mean, to me, it looks like just as I was saying before, like sloughing off her skin. It's almost kind of like a body shape underneath there, and it's like she's taken off her skin suit, as it were, to reveal what is underneath. And what is underneath is something not of this world. It is something altogether more powerful than this meat sack that we all walk around in. Because I feel, Pisces, you're really starting to believe in yourself for the first time. You know, there are so many times where you would have abdicated your decision making, or even, you know, subjugated your will to other people, and those times are over. Those times are gone. It is definitely a skin suit. And do you know what, Pisces? It's just too fucking tight. It's interesting. As I'm sitting here looking at this card, what is underneath the hand of the angel, like we've got, you know, kind of like pulling the skin suit off. But under our other hand, something that I've not noticed before, is a sword. I don't know if you can pick that up there. Now, symbolically speaking, that is the Ace of Swords. That is a realization that is coming through. That is a big realization, you know, some sort of connection that you have put together cerebrally. And honestly, I do feel like it's that alignment of the subconscious and the conscious finally. You believe in yourself, you believe in what you're doing, and you are changing as a result. And so the Seven of Pentacles no longer applies. Now it's about the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles for me, as well as talking about self-sufficiency and independence and all those kind of things, it's a card that speaks of good resource management. Your resources, Pisces, not anybody else's. And so whilst your attention may be on this thing, you know, whatever it is that is forming the catalyst for this change in you, I spoke, I believe, about some sort of creative endeavor, some sort of project, some sort of something. It really is just the focal point and the catalyst for your energy and your attention going into you and what you think is important. Like, you're trusting your judgment on this one. And rightly so, I think. Right, let's have a look and see why you're in this energy in the first place. I mean, I feel like we've answered that question already, but let's go anyway. Why is Pisces in this energy? So we have very first card is the High Priestess. Card of Pisces in the Major Arcana. Second card, you just watched me shuffle those cards in, but there it is again, the Strength card, right? I mean, fuck me, could the message be any fucking clearer? And interestingly enough, the last two cards, we've got two that came out together there. We've got the Ten of Swords and we've got the Two of Cups. Now, this could well see, I actually think it came out the other way around, but it doesn't even really matter. What do we have? The Queen of Swords down here with the King of Cups and the Lovers card, yeah. Oh, and the Star behind that, and the Ace of Wands. Holy shit, Pisces, it just doesn't end. This Queen of Swords, I think, is you trusting your discernment now in a way that you did not before. So you will not be put off by people saying, no, we're not going to do things like that, or, you know, shouting you down or telling you, you know, that things shouldn't go the way that you want them to do. You're just not having that anymore. You know, just as that character there, the angel in the Awakening card, has their hand on a sword, you know, you don't just have your hand on the sword now, you have it, you clasp it with both hands and you're pressing it to your forehead, right? This is important to you. You understand this. You know exactly what is going on here. And you feel really strongly about it. King of Cups there, right? Scorpio energy, but it does speak about, you know, a really active engagement and investment emotionally in something. But then we've also got the Lovers, we've got the Star, and we've got the Ace of Wands underneath here. Now those cards are, well, Gemini and Aquarius for those two major arcana. But the Lovers card is a card of conscious co-creation. Yes, it's a card of, you know, it can be a card of relationships and things like that, but I don't really see it that way, right? The original meaning of this card is a choice. Exactly what we've been talking about, right? But it's it's bringing yourself into alignment with something bigger than you. What is that thing for you, Pisces? Is that God? Is that the universe? Is that your higher self? You know, I think that these are all different terms for different faces of the same thing. But whatever it is, it also indicates hope. You know, when you have a combination of hope, or even maybe faith, hope and faith, with an understanding that what you are sitting on here is important and it does have value all of its own, and you are prepared to commit to it, as I feel like you are, you've got an explosive new beginning going on. You've got the Ace of Wands there, specifically tied to creative inspiration, this one here. But it's also, because it's the one suit, to do with living, it's to do with experience. So it's like how you change your lived experience, because everything's open to you now. If you're prepared to change what you do in the day-to-day, how you show up, how you behave, how you experience life even, the world changes in front of you. Now, this High Priestess down here isn't a surprise, really. We've already seen the Hanged Man for you. Like, your energy is all over this, and it is so strong, Pisces. Said before, like, it pisses me off how some people who will remain nameless see Pisces as a very wishy-washy sign, you know, one that can be either, you know, pushed over very easily, or at its, you know, most toxic, is really quite manipulative, and they miss so many other things. Like, yes, low vibrational Pisces can be like that, but there are far more who are in this state here, and this is one half of the most powerful power couple for me in the major arcana. There she is. Like, you're being guided by your intuition at this point, right? As most Pisces are at any given point. But it is in combination with this Queen of Swords. There's no flight of fancy here, Pisces. You're seeing reality as it is. Like, there's no illusion at all. And you're stepping into who you are so profoundly. You know, we've seen strength with the Hanged Man. Sorry, it's the shadow card at the bottom of the deck, but now here it is coming out with the High Priestess too. It could be that you've changed your perspective on a few things, and I think that's probably very, very likely. But what we're seeing here is an enormous expansion of not just the Pisces experience, but of you, the Pisces, as well. One that is not afraid to advocate for what they need, and it's also not afraid to make really bold decisions about their future using their resources and how they think everything should go. Now, part of that may well have involved bringing an end to some sort of relationship, some sort of partnership, whether it is with a person or with a corporation, or, you know, whatever it is, whether it, you know, your work. It could be any of these things. But the Ten of Swords indicates completion. It's an end. And it may not be terribly comfortable. Like, most people don't enjoy endings. And the Ten of Swords is a particularly difficult one, but it does indicate lots of lessons learned. Right? The whole sword suit, I think, is the most challenging of all the suits. And it's just every step of the way, there's a new challenge to it, and they're sharp. You know, often those challenges are really barbed and they hurt. Nevertheless, there is tremendous wisdom to be gained from that. And I think that the fact that you've got the Queen of Swords sitting right there means that you can navigate this without too much issue. This is quite interesting though, because I do feel like it's pulling away from a person or an entity, or, you know, or whatever, allowing it to end, even though it pains you, because you know it is no longer in your best interests to continue this. You know, that in itself is a matter of growth. You know? It's funny, when I was lying in bed last night, and just as I was going to sleep, I was mulling over all sorts of things, as I do, generally. And just as I was on the edge of sleep, I had a really expansive feeling, and I just kind of pulled out from everything, everywhere, and looked at life as it is. And we humans, we're so bad for sweating the small stuff. And in some ways we are so conditioned to seek everybody else's approval for what we do, you know. Humans have been around for a very long time now. And I wonder how many of the humans that have been and gone, lived and died, how many of them have laid on their deathbed and felt like they had really lived their best life. I wonder how many of us spend, you know, hours of our life every week while we're falling asleep, you know, hauling ourselves over the coals for something that we, you know, some way in which we feel like we've cocked up, you know, how long we spend fixing the bars of our own mental prisons. I think it's probably a horrifying number, to be honest. We're here for but just a blink of an eye. And I think for the most part, most people waste that by engaging too deeply with the material stuff in front of us. And the reason that I mention it is because it feels to me like you're having one of those moments, Pisces, where you're kind of like pulling out and you're like, I don't know how long I have left on the planet. Like, is it 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 4 years, maybe, yeah, that's cool. Am I going to spend it doing what everybody else wants? Or am I going to explore what has been given to me? Whether it's my creative potential, whether it's the way that I express myself, whether it's the way that I feel, you know, in relation to myself, in relation to other people, in relation to the trees, you know, who knows? How do I honor myself without succumbing to the ways in which we restrict ourselves? I think you're fucking done, Pisces. I think you're fucking done restricting yourself. Let's get some cards of advice for Pisces, please. Oh, thank you. We have the Ace of Wands. We also had the Six of Swords pop out, which I think came first. One more card for Pisces, please. One card for Pisces. What? We've got two. Oh, fuck's sake, right. The number of repeating cards here is daft. So we have the Six of Swords. It's time to start moving on, and it could be that you have outgrown certain situations that you have found yourself in. That's possible. But maybe, Pisces, what you're outgrowing is that version of you that you have been occupying in your meat sack for such a long time now. It's time to spread your wings and start being really, really true to yourself, regardless of the storm that it creates, because nothing lasts forever, you know? People will get the fuck over it, you'll get the fuck over it. Beyond this storm here, there are calm seas. There's a boat with a chap just sat in it. I didn't notice that before. There's only 5 swords depicted at the bottom of the card. The last sword is in the hand of the woman. There's a woman, or the person at least, who is on top of the bird. I don't know if you can see it there. Take what you know and know when it's time to go. Right? Listen to yourself. The High Priestess is literally sat directly underneath this. Right? Listen to your intuition and act accordingly, because there are exciting things ahead. We've got the Ace of Wands here, and I love this Ace of Wands because what she's got there in her hand is a phoenix. Like, you are being reborn. It's the Judgment card varies quite a lot between decks, and I've seen it very often when it's not being called Judgment. it to be called rebirth. On this occasion it's called awakenings, but it's a stunning card. It's an absolutely stunning card. Be prepared to make the changes that you need to honour what is coming next, right? Maybe honour what it is that you have already. And the final two cards that we got there are the Nine of Pentacles and the Lovers. Again, start putting all of your energy into what you want to manifest for yourself, because at this point, for some reason, it feels like there's a big fucking portal open for you, Pisces, and whatever you want, provided you apply yourself with everything that you have, is open to you to have at this time. It's absolutely extraordinary. Right, Pisces, I'm going to leave it there. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.